Outlook, your go-to show for insight discussion on politics, governance, and social issues. I'm your host, Nasir Yunusa, and today we are diving into a topic that is both timely and critical: the influence of state governments on state INEC appointments and local government funds in Nigeria. We have our guest with us. His name is Barrister Buhari Yusuf, a political analyst and a governance expert. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Happy to be with you.
Yes, welcome to Click Naija. Don't forget, you can like, share, and comment on this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channels at Click Naija, on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and for X is at Click Naija 1. Over the years, there have been concerns about the level of influence state governments wield over state INEC appointment and how this can affect our local government administration. For instance, the recent local government election conducted in some states in Nigeria, like Barr, where we saw all the election went for, because an APC state all went for APC, and so on and so forth. One of the major challenges we have seen in the control state government exercise over the fund allocated to local government, the control often cripples local government ability to function effectively. Now, Barrister, let's start with what reforms can be introduced to minimize the appointment of loyalists who may favor a political party during local government elections?
First of all, to give a coherent background to this conversation, let me come by law that created local government, Section 7, subsection 1, with the combined reading of Section 8, gives credence and the functions are properly outlined, deliberately outlined, so that there will not be the possibility of clashes. But typical of anything created by a human being, unexpected inadequacies and issues come up. But the Constitution too is very clever to have said this, that amendments should come by way of legislative undertakings to correct the anomalies. Therefore, it's not without law or not legal positions that the local government are operating, but certain advantages are taken and certain loopholes are personalized by particularly the governors in the case of local government operations. Reforms are really required by proper interpretation of the law that created it. We are lucky. Now, the political aspect of it, which is normally pretty, nebulous, because for you to appreciate the inadequacies inherent in the laws that created local government, and then the laws that allows for the running of local government, and then the relationship with the state government, somebody needs to read and to read widely to appreciate the issues. Now, what do? Of course, certain contradictions have been thrown up by, long practice of local government administration. Like, let me give you an example of 1993 local government operations. The conduct of local government elections were done by the National Electoral Body then, which gave the semblance of the performance, and then the activities of proper setting of local government. But today, there is a mixture of certain interventions by the government, state government here, and then by the practitioners too. Because just like you said, which is very correct and true, most of local government elected or appointees are surrogate of the governors. And therefore, you don't expect anything better than what you are getting now. But with the Supreme Court judgment, I think certain level of decency will be drawn up now. It's left for us to add up on that and to see where we are going to it. But of course, reforms.
Let me come in here. The Supreme Court judgment now. Just give us a little bit enlightenment about it. What is
it's basically about revenue according to the local government. Essentially about revenue according to the local government. Because the belief is that if local governments are properly funded, the possibility of them working is always a reality. But here, other issues are coming up. You see the conduct of the election. The issue of a national body conducting election is not part of the judgment of the Supreme Court, but it can now come through legislative, work by the National Assembly and then the state assemblies, because it's a constitutional issue. It has to go through the whole process of the constitutional amendment.
Now, what are the legal implications for a state INEC lack of independence when conducting local government elections?
It's more moral than legal,
Okay.
because the drafters of 1999 Constitution must have been carried away by this sheer excitement that we are going to have people that are willing to assist the Constitution. Let me give you an example of certain analogy here. In America, the politicians are working to enforce, to strengthen the power of their working document. That's the legal instrument, their Constitution. In Nigeria, conversely, politicians in Nigeria are working to undermine and to take advantages of the weak points of our Constitution, the weak links of our Constitution. Do we start questioning our moral recourse to our laws and functioning? Yes. Do we supposed to start thinking of moralizing our processes? Yes. Because a law can be here, but law can be either bent, not broken, or undermined. And that's exactly that's the reason why I gave you this analogy. In other climes, the law practitioners,
Yes.
the legislators, the judiciary are working to strengthen, to hide the laws. But here we are looking for weak points to exploit. And that informs the reason why we are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. We refuse to allow morality to moderate our functions and actions
And
in
these
Nigeria.
points that they explore affects local government.
Not only because when anything that affects local government affects the federation. We all belong to local governments. Including the president is a resident of a local government. So this gives you.
There's this thing they say politics is local.
Yes, that's why they say politics is local, of course, yes.
Yeah.
So local government is the most important part of our federation, but we don't know. Municipal councils in UK are the most important part of their geography. That's why. Because when you see what local government is supposed to do, which are now being undone by the state, are so important and relevant to our development and existence that if they were allowed to function, we wouldn't have gotten all these problems that we have. Dispensaries, hospitals, schools, what have you, mortuaries, abattoirs, what have they all belong to feeder roads. They are all local government issues.
And these are suffering heavily in Nigeria.
Heavily.
Okay, let's go to our next question. Why do opposition parties often fail to secure wins in local government elections, despite being competitive at the state and national levels? Now, are there systematic barriers that prevent free and fair competitions at the local level now?
Yes, because the governor appoints the state electoral commissions. The state government or the state assemblies, which normally are under the governor, create the laws that give functions to the local government issues. Added to that, the court with the most part of the jurisdiction in local government issues are the state high courts. Now you have a case of the governor conduct the election, appoint the court, the high court judge, appoint everybody that has to do with the election. How would you now contest in this unfair environment? You possibly would not. And there are no intervening forces that have a supervisory or oversight function on the activities of the local government. It's entirely a state government issue. And that's the reason you have seen what happened in Rivers State as a classical example. When the governor was locked from all the angles, he threw up a very creative idea and he got the local government under his control, but he could see the war that was going on and the war that is still going on. Because by that position, he is now the owner of the structure, the real structure of the state politics. And these are part of the issues. These are the problems that we have. But if the election of local governments are tempered by way of inviting national bodies into it, it would give a little semblance of neutrality. But here I'm not talking about totality of neutrality, but a little sample of it. At least when INEC conduct election in a state, you see other small parties feeding on that little opportunity. But you just talk about Kwara State. In every state of the federation, with the little exception of one state, Kaduna, where 3 local governments one opposition one. But remove Kaduna during El-Rufai, there is still not a single state that have opposition coming close to the election. That is the reason why a lot of clever opposition parties are not even subjecting and legitimizing this chariot that they just retire and say, look, we are not coming up for this. We are not coming to legitimize and validate your.
There's something you said when we were discussing and came into my mind. The state governors appoint the INEC chairman, he appoints the judiciary, he appoints if that was the local government.
In fact, in most cases, appoint the ministers. Because they nominate them in some cases.
Yes. Now, the state legislatives it's like some states, the state governors control the state legislatives.
They control them in total. It's not like they in
the people that are supposed to strengthen the local government elections now.
I know you have not forgotten when Buhari's regime made an attempt to give independence to the state legislature. They rejected it. Because of what? The governors told them not to. And even these local government amendments that will be coming up, I don't know how successful it's going to be. Because the state assembly is meant to be part of it. Because it's constitutional amendment issue. And the state assemblies must be part of it.
As a barrister, what is the way forward in this thing you say?
The way forward is by citizen action. Because the political class in Nigeria, just like I told you earlier on, are not about the country, are not about the welfare as exemplified in Section 14 of the Constitution. Yeah. But the frightening situation, arguably frightening, is the fact that the citizen action tool is very deficient. We have weak civil service society, we have very weak Labour Party structure, we have very weak opposition political parties, and therefore we are open up to all the abnormal contradictions that we are to be given to us. But I think there should be this consensus that there is no alternative to democracy. And when we agree with this conclusion, then we have to look for a way out to. I think the periodic amendment of the Constitution might take us to a scenario close to that.
Okay.
It might be a little late, but inevitably we are going to go there. I think we amend more than Americans. In almost 300 years of American practice of democracy, they amended their constitution 27 times.
Wow.
In 25 years, we amended our constitution 97 times.
97 times? 25 years?
97 in 25 years. So I think we are taking radical posture towards amendment. But again, let's go back to this issue. Are laws on their own enough by nature to force compliance? No. We all know that a rate on the highway means stop. But go around Abuja and see how they are beaten. Right. And the rate is telling you that accident might happen, but still you take the risk and do it. So the issue of morality needs to come in. Sheer legislative power will not give us or will not take us to where we are expected to. That informs the reason why all this debate about constitution, changing constitution is just a next story belief.
Okay, let's go to our next question. What role does voter apathy play in consistent dominance of ruling parties in local elections, and how can citizens be more engaged in these processes?
You know, this voters apathy is a product of poor and unrealizable expectation of the voters. They have been voting, and what they see at the end of the election is not a reflection of what they did. So they become pretty tired and in fact battle weary. Then why should I waste my time? It even angers you the more if you go in there and do something and the result doesn't come down. When you refuse to go and whatever they dish it out there to you, it's okay. I was expecting this.
But my own experience again, during the local government elections, I see poor turnout. When you go for the election, like journalists, we go to see what's happening on the field there. When we go, we see a number of people coming out. Is that not still a disadvantage?
One of the main reasons is how up till today we've not realized the importance of local government. Secondly, the normal humongous amount of money dished out by politicians unleashed on the society is not seen during the local government election. So it doesn't encourage people to really come out. And then the character personnel in local government matters are local, just like the election itself. And then the determined result of local government election discourage voters to come out and do it, just like I said at the beginning. You know who is going to win. You know any candidate fielded by the ruling party in the state will win. You might not like him, so why are you going to waste your time? These are part of the reasons. So, unless a serious surgical operation that will give us hope where our aspirations are going to be realized and where when we vote we are going to see the result at the end of the election are done, the apathy will come to this dangerous level that I am predicting this. People might not even come out one day. And it's going to be dangerous for this our democratic practice. And of course, politicians are not doing anything to encourage the flow and the growth of democracy in Nigeria. You can cite it anywhere.
Now, how does the joint account system hinder development projects and service delivery of local government? Could abolishing the system lead to a greater local government accountability and efficiency? Now we're talking of joint account system.
Yes, it's going to, because the joint account in our laws, in the Constitution, was and is being seriously misinterpreted. To the governors, it's like this is a largesse coming on behalf of one section of the government that is under me, and therefore I have the right to appropriate it anyhow and how I want it to do it. And to that extent, local governments in most of the state, after the payment of teacher salary and a little bit workers in the local government, normally the local government chairman are just doing 5 million or 3 million, go home. You won't see him until the next month. So it's a very dangerous issue. But now we have gotten this Supreme Court judgment. But it must be supported by creative legislation that will involve the expenditure must be supervised by our investigating platforms in Nigeria. We might have liaisons office by creation of the law to make sure that money meant for the local government is traced to the local government and its expenditure is traceable to where the expenditure is said to have taken place, so that prosecution, when infraction is realized, will be very simple and easy.
Okay, I think I like maybe coming here. Just like state governors that have checks, the House of Representatives present their budgets. Do the local government have checks that they go present their budget? Okay, this is where we want to. This is what's like budget for this local government. Do they have an assembly?
Of course, local government function just as a mini state, just like the federal, like the state function as a mini federation. They have all these check and balances. They have everything, but they are not functioning. Due to these loopholes exploited by the governors. But I think these are the loopholes that are supposed to be closed and permanently closed. They are not just being exploited and corrupted, but they are wasted. You know, Nigerian politician is typically wicked. That after eating and spending and what comes later is even wastage. Our Nigerian politicians, when I say Nigerian politicians, I mean it in every ramification of political class in Nigeria, with very little that are out there to service humanity. Look at the situation. Look at where we are today. Are we supposed to be where we are today? Definitely not. But we cannot walk out of it until and unless we have legislative authority. We have judiciary that is very strong and functional. We have state instruments that have powerful enforcement. And then we build a guiding platform that will navigate us through this turbulence. Otherwise, we will not go to anywhere. I always bring example of we are so confused that today we are talking about parliamentary, tomorrow we are talking about federalism, tomorrow we are talking about presidential. It's not about the name of the formula we use, it's about our attitude. Unless and until we develop this positive attitudinal change, we will not go anywhere. When you go outside there, American Constitution is just like small novel. Half of Nigerian Constitution, yes. But they abide by it. Yes.
Yeah.
But they abide by it, they live by it, they trust it, they are not complaining about it. American Constitution was written by how many people? Supposed to be written by 55 people. At the end of it all, 37 people sufficed.
Okay.
What happened?
Let's go to
There was not representation of women, labor, indigenous Americans, and what, but they believe in the book. They continue amendment and this thing, and they are okay.
They follow the reality and change
Yes,
the
and the
society
truth, yes.
and change the.
But we keep on complaining. Sometimes our politicians, when they realize that we are in a situation of this serious restiveness, they say, let's change our constitution. Let's change this. It's about attitudinal issues.
Okay. Now, in what way does the governor's control over the local government election undermine the democratic process at the grassroots levels?
Because they conscript and circumscribe people's right to participate in the election. They select for you,
yes,
not by way of your choice, but by way of
especially the local government chairman is
the local government. You know, I can say the mistake we had, which is not deliberate. We thought differently. Obasanjo, when he came in as a military person, he had that military mentality in him of state command. So the state were allowed to have a lot of things going for them. Ministers were appointed through the state. Ambassadors were appointed through the state. Board chairman and governing council were done. And this,
why is it just as the power given to the state governors, because the federal level gives the governors the power they want, why not the state governors want to give the local government chairman this power? Because like the autonomy they have.
Because the federating spirit is more in the relationship between the state and the federation than the state with the local government. But I think the effort now to address these issues will bring it in harmony with the existing relationship between the state and the federation. And unless this is done, we'll continue with this problem unabated. And let me say this again. You see, the states do not even allow the parties to function. Before, the party in the state nominates appointments. But today, in fact, it's the government that nominates the chairman of his party. Nominate almost everything. And so Jefferson said, power corrupt and absolute power corrupt. Absolutely.
Okay. So let's move to our last question. Now, what are your final thoughts on how we can minimize the undue influence of state government in both INEC appointments and local government forms?
You see, again, the issue of attitude. Our voters too in Nigeria, the citizen action should involve sanitizing people and teaching them and enlightening them about their rights. That look, you are the number one office. You determine who goes up there, who represent you here. But if we continue with this spaghetti party election, with this sub and over election, of course we will not change anything. But when we realize that in our hands God gives the residency of the power that every one of them enjoys, and we want to exercise it discreetly, then there will be movement forward. But the issue is, will poverty and hunger allow the citizen to exercise their right in the present arrangement of liberal economy, where the means of service and production is maintained by the class, the rule, the class that are prepared for you? These are the contradictory questions. Even give you the leadership.
Thank you, Barrister Yusuf, for your insightful contribution on this program.
Thank you.
You're always welcome to Click Naija.
Thank you, and our viewers, I wish you a great day ahead.
Thank you to my producer, Rotimi Martins, and Jacinta Osaigi. The program was supervised by Ehi Ohiani and presented by Nasir Yunisa. Have a great day. Bye.